Adults often complain that young people live in their own world, caught up in music and culture and relationships which cut them off from the real world. Publishers complain that young adults no longer read the newspaper and don't know what's going on in the news today. Politicians claim that youth don't vote and tend to ignore the issues of concern to young people. I don't think adults believe such stereotypes of youth, and I don't think they would hold such rigid views if they could have seen the DVD I watched last night, 8 mini documentaries produced by teams of youth on every local and national news item you could possibly think of. Despite conventional wisdom, young people did vote in greater numbers than ever during that last fall's election. Young people may not pick up newsprint the way their parents did, but thanks to the internet, their knowledge and connection with the world stage is greater than we adults could ever imagine. And while music and culture, and yes, relationships, are as important as ever to youth, the integration of these aspects of youth bring an edge to the documentaries they produce. Young people are learning the tools of our information economy and are using their skills to bring fresh perspectives to traditional documentaries and the internet. And one place they learn those skills here in Chicago is Streetlevel Youth Media. Joining me tonight on this edition of Community Media and You, we'll get a chance to look at how the organization Streetlevel Youth Media is helping young people from grade school through high school to learn how to tell their stories. We're going to talk with several people tonight. Clarence Johnson, who is been with Streetlevel for some time. Lewis, you are currently a student, but then you've been there for a while. And then Mr. Jones over here, James Duke. James, why was there a need for Streetlevel Youth Media? What is it that's really going on with that organization?
I mean, it's something pretty much out of the norm. Like, it's something I've never seen. Growing up on the south side of Chicago, I've always had access to like field houses and YMCAs, and they just offer like that sports side. So I wasn't really like a bunch of athletic kids. So when I heard about Streetlevel, it was like so different because they were bringing something new to the table and something that I was interested in.
What's that something new?
Just the access to technology, man. So it was access to like video and internet. Was something totally new for me. So,
Clarence, where you were growing up in Englewood, did you ever think about having access to technology? How did you get introduced to the idea that that might be important in your life?
I wasn't really thinking about technology until I got involved with Streetlevel. Actually, Streetlevel kind of like pushed me as far as I'm a graphic artist now, and I produce music. On top of right now working on my own documentary, and it's like I would never have been thinking about doing none of that stuff had it not been for Streetlevel at all. I'm talking about I wanted to like grow up and be a police officer just to make my family proud, or something like that. But I could make them proud by doing something that now through Streetlevel I'm passionate about. It's not even work. It's like play for me,
Lewis, how did you hear about Streetlevel?
I had heard about Streetlevel through some friends of mine when when I was little, and like one day they told me, just go ahead and check it out. So I walked in one day and I asked for a slip to sign up, and that's how I really found out about Streetlevel.
Well, before we go on with our conversation, I thought it'd be good to get to one of the videos we're going to show during tonight's show. This is a documentary that was produced as kind of a compilation of 15 minutes worth of independent news programming. It is called Hijab, and I think the excerpt that we have speaks for itself. So let's take a look at this excerpt.
Hello, and welcome to IN4M News,
the news station where we inform you. I'm Chris Heister.
And I'm Abdul Nasser Rashid.
Our topic today is the hijab. What is it? Let's go to some women that wear hijab.
Well, what hijab is it's mandatory for females in Islam to wear hijab. Hijab is basically the covering. There's more aspects to hijab than just the outer. It's also the way you carry yourself, and many people also assume that hijab is just for females. There's also hijab for males too, but obviously it doesn't stand out as much because they don't have to wear the head covering. But for females, the exterior part of hijab is the head covering from head to toe. You're supposed to cover your hair, everything basically except for your hands and your feet and your face. And there's also some debate about that as well. But Hijab is also much deeper than that. It's the way a person carries themselves. It's their mannerisms. It's really just your entirety, how you go about in your life and in society.
Well, I know there's a concrete definition of hijab, and which basically requires Muslim women to dress modestly, covering their hair and their body, where they can only expose their face and their hands. But to me, hijab is just not a literal definition of a covering, a body covering. But it represents a lot more than that. To me, it means respect. To me, it means, understanding of other people. Because I have to dress a certain way, I am more receptive and open to the thoughts and feelings of other people's limitations, possibly.
So I understand you were around during the production of that segment we just saw. What was going on?
It was, it's regular editing stuff when it comes to like, chopping up what they want to show and what they didn't want to show. But it was like, it was real enlightening to when one of the guys who made it after NASA, he had came up with the idea, and he worked along Chris Heister. When they was telling me, about the hijab and what it meant, and by me seeing people, like with scarves over their head, I thought it meant completely something else than what they was really telling me. I thought it was something like they was forced to wear their clothes a certain way and things like that. But it was like, what like the film said, it was a sign of like respect or something by them wearing a hijab. It's like it's like when you, how can I put it? When you see it, like if you was to talk to a girl, it's like you would really be talking to them for them, not how they look, because their body is covered. You really like focus completely on their mind, and and that was to me what I thought was like real nice about that, and just different things that topics that came up just by them wearing their clothes.